Hey everybody, welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. I'm definitely feeling a lot better. Still have a little bit of a cough, so it's still, at night it seems to affect me more than during the day. Still have my honey water here, so still recovering. Please like the video, thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think on the talking points as well as the what sold. I will break it up into chapters, so if you just want to see what sold, it'll be towards the end of the video. You can check the timestamp in the description, or if you just want to, use the little, jump to that part in the video, you should see where, where it says what sold if you scroll through the video. A few things I'm going to bring up. I know I was saying I was going to talk about some, just things that get in your way, some usual personal or life issues. And I was going to talk about a personal, thing that happened to me several years ago. But I'm still, I want to be able to make sure I get through it. I don't want to have to break up the video or anything like that. And, I'm still got a little bit of a cough and a little bit of congestion there. So I'll do that once because when I talk, I start to feel a little buildup there. So I don't want that to happen while I'm going through a in-depth conversation. Or getting into an in-depth conversation. Let's see here. So a couple things. First and foremost, I took a picture of this thing here. I got a weird, not necessarily a request or anything like that. It was very strange. So I got a message from a buyer. I saw the camera. It was a Kodak film camera, and this is already a couple weeks ago. They sent me a message saying I hadn't left feedback yet because I was waiting on the film to arrive. Now, mind you, this is about 4 days before the 30-day window closes when someone can return an item. I have 30-day free returns. So after that, they can't, I could still accept a return, but after that, usually that's it. They can't return it. So this is about 4 days before the return window closes. I was waiting for film to arrive. After loading the film, this is an old camera, so I use little flash cubes. They wouldn't fire because the little piece that comes out of the camera that's set on top of the pins in the flash cube did not extend out the way it's supposed to. So in other words, the camera doesn't work correctly. Okay, and they sent me a couple of pictures, and so I looked at the pictures and I cross-referenced them with my pictures. And there's definitely is some damage there. And I'm like, what? That's kind of, I didn't see that damage before. So I looked at the pictures that I had actually taken. And let me just, I'm also getting offers too, which I'm trying to accept as well. So I'm looking at the pictures and there's no damage on my pictures. The picture he sent me, there's damage there. I'm like, what? That's kind of weird. So maybe, I'm guessing he dropped it. Maybe he tried to shove the little light cube in there and it didn't work, or somehow, damaged it that way. Or maybe he sent me a picture of a different camera. I don't know. So I just responded, okay, did you want to return the item? I do offer, 30-day free returns. And that was it. Then about a couple days later, I didn't hear back from him. A couple days later, I just get I see a positive review pop up. I just keep an eye on those things. And it was from that person about the camera. And they said, everything works perfectly, great transaction. And that was it. I'm like, what? That's very strange. I've encountered similar, I can't recall the last time something similar to that happened. Very strange, but I don't know. Weird. Here I'm thinking I'm going to get a return, and the window elapses, and I get positive feedback. I mean, I would expect at least maybe a neutral or negative feedback. I don't know. My guess is maybe they were trying to get some money back or something like that. Maybe they were trying to fish for a partial refund. I don't know. They never send any messages back other than the review. And so that's, that's in the history books. Closed, done deal in my book. And then I did get another message from another buyer yesterday. It was for a keyboard I sold, and it's a unique keyboard. It's not, it's very big, very large, has large keys on it. Very specific use case for this keyboard. But the person was already messaging me before they actually bought the item. Different questions, peppering with different questions. No big deal, right? It happens. It could be a sign of a potential issue with the buyer, with the transaction, anything. If they ask too many questions, you eventually learn these things. But I didn't think anything of it until they asked one question. They said, "Is this the Big Key keyboard?" I'm like, Big Key keyboard? Well, first of all, the actual brand is called Big Keys. So it's in the title. It says Big Keys. And if you look at the pictures, the keys are abnormally large. It's incredibly difficult to type on. A very specific use case. It's always in there with measurements and everything in the pictures. So it's clearly these keys are big. And the name of it is Big Keys. So I'm like, that's kind of an odd question to ask. So, but I answered everything, not thinking anything of it, bought it, shipped it out. So then I get a message from them saying the space bar is sticky 60% of the time. I'm like, oh, that's strange. I mean, first of all, I didn't have any issues with the keyboard. So I just sent a message back saying, okay, I mean, no problem. If you want to return it, you could definitely do that if you like. And they open up a return. So I quickly go in there and look. I see, well, when was this, delivered? And I check the delivery date and the time and all that. I don't typically do that unless there's issues like that. And this guy was acting kind of funny, fishy through the messages. And so then I go to look, and the return was, the message he sent me was literally about 10 minutes after it was delivered. So I'm like, and you kind of know, like, there are these people who maybe just wanted to see it in person. They weren't really 100% committed to the item. They just wanted to give it a test ride. They wanted to see what it was like. Maybe they got it and they figured out, I don't really like this after all. So they're coming up with excuses to return it. 'Cause, I mean, 60% of the time within 10 minutes? That doesn't make any sense. In my opinion, that doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, 60% of the time, what? And then he follows up. Because I said, if you just want to return it. And they said, well, I don't really know how to do returns. I said, it's done through eBay. Then he says, well, it's just not working very well right now for me. And so, and then he's just getting like, then there was an issue here with this. So now he's getting a little nitpicky there. And now I'm already, I've dealt with customers like this where they're just not, when they start asking too many questions, it's almost as if you're never going to be able to satisfy the customer. There are all these customers are out there all the time. They're just a million questions, and once they get to 1,000,001, we're never going to satisfy this person no matter what. They get the item, and of course, when they get it in hand, they're going to be nitpicky and find things wrong with it. There are all these people out there. They're everywhere. Don't let it deter you from selling online, selling items, or even selling items to people that just have a bunch of questions. Because, most of the time, no issues at all. There's no problems at all. They ask a bunch of questions, they answer them, and then they buy the item, and they don't hear again. That's the majority. But there are the few, the minority, that are just, you're never going to be able to please them. No matter what they are. If you want to block them, block them. If you don't want to block them, don't. I mean, I'm not going to block this person. I probably won't see him again. So, at least hopefully not, in my opinion, because I don't want to have to deal with a return again. But we'll get it back. We'll sell it. It's sold relatively quickly. And then we'll move on with our lives. So, let's go ahead and move on to the what sold. Okay, what's sold here? All right. And you guys know I sell planners. I sell planners all the time. As a matter of fact, what was interesting about this planner, 2021. That's one of the reasons why I brought it up. It's dated. I typically try to stay away from calendar, planner, stuff like that are dated because obviously, this is 4 years ago now. But it's still sold, and this is a not. You can either scratch out the date if you want. I don't know what this person's going to do with it, because it still works as a calendar, as a planner, and an organizer. But this one's a refillable, so you could definitely pop those out, put in your own in there. Really, really cool. Definitely keep your eye out for planners. They do really well. This is very modern. It's not an older one like the typical ones you see me sell. These were sold at Target. It was sold at Target. It's good quality, faux leather, real nice. I mean, I think the blue really captured the buyer. I think it's a nice rich blue for people that like blue. Is a little bit more of a higher end style feel brand. But it's cool piece sold from 2021. All the inserts said 2021 on it. So $27.63 is what it sold for. $6.61 is what the shipping was, and this went in a padded poly bag. Oops, gotta go this way. And then old cell phones. You got to keep your eye out for old cell phones. You can't pay too much for them. You want to pay, in my opinion, around $1, $2 for them. And typically that's what you can get them for at the flea market. Typically, though, when you find them at the flea market, they're usually pretty, they're pretty messed up at the flea market. Pretty rare to find them in decent shape. Usually they've been sitting in the bottom of a bin somewhere, probably in a locker, just collecting dust, or maybe there's water. This one was actually a pretty cool one. I actually used to have this cell phone back in the day. It was a pretty, not revolutionary, but more of like an evolutionary leap when it comes to Android phones. When this one came out, it was actually a really, really good Android phone. And, at this point, they were competing with Apple, of course. And this one was a really, really nice phone, the HTC Hero 200. You really got to keep your eye out for these more, because not all Androids are necessarily going to be good to sell, resell. You kind of got to keep your eye out for those ones that really, really kind of put their mark in history when it comes to things like this, cell phones. Like PDAs. Like old school PDAs, handspring, Palm Pilots, all that, those will all sell pretty well nowadays, especially if they work okay and you have accessories with it as well. But when it comes to cell phones, you really got to look for those real special ones. And we're not talking we're making a bunch of money here. $15.90 is what it sold for. $5.56 is what the shipping cost was. And I wanted a padded poly bag, but I just know because I was involved in the cell phone. I had cell phones all the time. I was always upgrading, buying new, the latest and greatest. And I knew this one. I saw it. I was like, this is a great cell phone. I know it's still resell. And sure enough, it did. So really, really cool. Can't pay too much for it. Just be aware of that. First of all, you don't even know if it's going to work. And it's not going to go for that much. $15 and $20, just like the razors. And next here is a Mickey head. And this is actually an antenna topper. Now, this didn't sell for that much. $4.79 is what it sold for. $5.09 for the shipping on this one here. But we got a big old bag, about 16 of these. And they're all going to go for right around $5 each. So overall, it's a great deal. The bag was $8.59 for all of these little toppers. I could have probably put them in a big old lot, sold them all off at once, but they were all different. They had different, some of them there were some for, Valentine's Day. There were some for St. Patrick's Day, some Christmas ones. So a good little mix, and I thought it'd be probably better just to sell them individually. And we'll make more money that way, selling them individually. And they are selling up. And so this was a really cool one. It just sold recently. So the one interesting thing about, these antenna toppers is they get stolen relatively easy. I mean, all of ours have been stolen off our cars. I don't even know how, why, when it happens. Sometimes I don't even pay attention to it. I'm like, oh, it got stolen off the car. What the heck? But I even had these little Mickey heads that go on the bolts on the back of your, license plate. They kind of just cover the bolts, so it's not a whole license plate holder. They just, boop, they plop right there. They're sticky, and even those got stolen. I'm like, what the heck? They're always getting stolen. People I know, they're always getting their little antenna toppers stolen. I'm like, that's kind of annoying, but because they are. If you go to the parks, they're relatively expensive for a little foam. But it is pretty cool. You know, sold for $4.79. You know, it goes in the padded poly bag. Easy to store, easy to ship, easy to picture, everything. Easy to ship out. Super lightweight. We'll make a little bit of money on the shipping as well, too. So, great item. Keep your eye out for these toppers. You know, obviously, you don't want to spend too much on one individual one. You'll want to get them in a big lot if you definitely can. This is a weird one. I really had no idea. Google Image helped me out with this one, but it was really cool. It's from Japan. Anime, I think. Yeah, it's definitely an anime. I don't know what it's associated with. It looks like an alien to me. It's kind of like a squid type of thing. Those eyes are actually attached to Velcro. They kind of come off, and you can swap them, I guess. Very weird. It was definitely missing something on the back, because it looks like there was a Velcro strip on the back where it looked like something would go there. And again, I really have no idea what this is. It was really cool, well made. Comes from Japan, so I know a lot of these stuff that come from Japan definitely bring a premium. Alien guy, $60 what it sold for, $60.84. The shipping was $8.66 on this guy, so it's just a really well made plush. Unusual. Look out for things from Japan. Typically, you know, they are associated with some sort of anime, cartoon. I'm still selling off those, like, this isn't Japan, but BTS, the Korean band, pop band stuff. So these things are incredibly popular, and they move, and they sell. $60 for an alien plush, a weird alien plush, which I have no idea what it is. I mean, Google Image kind of helped me out. I think it's all correct in there, but cool, unique. If you guys seen this and know anything about this, let me know in the comments. Okay. Next is a jewelry box. Now, this one probably should have gone for more. It was cracked. I got it home, and I didn't realize that it was actually cracked. I'm like, oh, doggone it. But definitely something to look out for. Melee. I'm not sure how to pronounce it properly. But if you see any, you know, by that name, look out for it. They do really well. They sell really well. So for $21.81 is what it sold for. I'm guessing I probably could have got some more. Probably could have got closer to $40 for this. But due to the damage, I was like, I knew I wasn't going to get close to that. So $10.12 what the shipping charge was. This one a 12 by 8 by 6 box. Definitely keep your eye out for jewelry boxes. You know, like anything, 95% are not going to be worth it at all. But there are a few out there that are that have decent profit and could sell relatively quickly. This is definitely one of them. I've sold multiple jewelry boxes that, you know, you just got to look out for the right name, vintage, make sure they're clean. You know, that's the problem with a lot of jewelry boxes is all the different compartments on the inside. You know, keeping them clean, you know, dust gets in there and it's just impossible to clean sometimes. So I try to look for the ones that, you know, have the least amount of work that I have to put into it. So definitely keep your eye out for jewelry boxes. They do really well. I haven't never really found any large ones that are really worth it. A lot of these smaller ones, thinner wood ones, look for the ones that have decent woodworking involved. There was some wood inlay on the top. I know it's not pictured here, but there was some nice wood inlay on top of this, which kind of drew me into it and got me to actually, you know, just do a little more investigative work on it. And sure enough, it was a great item. It should have sold for more, but again, you know, it was damaged. And so just over $20 is what we sold that for. The alien guy went in a poly bag. I don't think I mentioned that. Just a large poly bag for that guy. It's all plush. So. Nothing really breakable there. Otherwise, before I start coughing some more, because I'm talking too much, we'll go ahead and end the video here. Thank you guys for watching. And, yeah, see you in the next video. Hey, you've made it to the end. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please like the video by hitting the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel by hitting my little round icon down below. It really does help us out here. Also, you'll find a couple of selections. You'll see a playlist of videos to watch and my most recent video that I did upload.